Ahlan, ya shabab! Welcome to part 27, and this might be the last video of this tutorial series. So, without further ado, let's get started. We want to deploy our app. Let's go, yallah. Okay, first, when we want to deploy an app, we want to do it professionally, so let's do it with a Dockerfile. Create a new file, say file, here you have Dockerfile, for instance. Yeah, just make sure, yes, add. Just make sure your Docker file has the name Dockerfile and then it has no ending. A Dockerfile has no ending. And then we wanna Dockerize it. So let's get started. Here we have our from. That's good, but we will use node. Long-term support LTS minus Alpine and as build minus stage. Okay, looks good. We don't need a label, but we need a work directory, and this will be /app. Then we'll copy files. Yes, copy. And then we say package. I mean, this could be also, doesn't it only be package? It could be also otherwise named, so that's why I will call an asterisk as a wildcard in here. There it is. Package.json, and so this will copy the package.json file and package minus log, for instance, to the app file, to the app directory we defined before. So let's say dot slash, and we will say now we want to install pnpm inside our container. So we will say run npm install -g globally, and we say pnpm. Okay, that looks good. Now I want to install the project dependencies with pnpm. Let's now again type run. Say pnpm install. Now we want to copy all other files from the project directory to the /app directory. So that we will copy, and from source is our source to our destination. This is the second dot source, second dot is destination, and our destination is basically this here /app folder. Okay, and now we want to use run pnpm build. As you can remember from the last video, I said this is one of the most important commands that it works. Pnpm build. Okay. Now this is the part now for Nginx setup. We'll say, let me comment this. Docker image setup, Docker image setup. Now we will have the Nginx setup, and now we say from Nginx colon stable minus alpine as production minus stage. Now we want to copy custom Nginx config to the Nginx config folder in the container. We need a and now we need our Nginx config file. Let's create a new file, and we will call it nginx.conf. And now we'll copy some things. Oh, I already have prepared it, to be honest. There it is. Copy. As you can see, I've also tried basically the configuration file here, of course I have it from the internet somewhere, and I just added some comments, what is happening here. So, if you have time, just go through it and read it. The most important thing is the server will listen on 8080. Remember this, the server will listen to 8080, so we have to, on the server, also tell our Docker image 8080. I will go back to this later. So now what we say is copy. We have our nginx conf file to /etc/nginx/nginx config. So this copies our custom nginx conf file, nginx.conf file, to the nginx config folder in the container, in the Docker container. So next we want to copy again something. Now we want to copy the build view app from build stage to Nginx serving directory. So this is how we do it. -- from equals build stage space app slash dist. As you can see, we have a dist folder in here. And then we say space slash user slash share slash nginx slash html. And now that's it. And now start nginx daemon. Start nginx. Okay. Here we say nginx. Next we say -g, and the daemon is off. Daemon off, semicolon. And I hope I have no typos in here, because if I have somewhere a typo, the build might not work. Yes, but I think this looks good. Let me just go through everything again here. -g, okay, run pnpm install, copy source to destination, run pnp build, nginx stable as production stage. Okay, copy nginx conf etc nginx.conf, copy from build stage app test. Okay, user share nginx html and nginx-g even off. Okay. This looks good right now. This is our setup for the Dockerfile. And make sure you add a Docker ignore file, new file, dot Docker ignore. Add, and we want to ignore, of course, the node modules and the dist folder. These are the two things we wanna ignore. Okay, 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 okay. Now we can create our Docker image, I would say. Clear. Now we can say Docker build -t and give it a name. We say task web app and the dot at the end. The dot at the end, this specifies the location of the Docker file and the context of the build. The dot at the end means the current directory, indicating that Docker should look for the Docker file. So we are in a root folder, so here dot is our root folder, and so it will look directly here in our root folder in task -app -Vuetify -YouTube. Okay, let's run this and hopefully this will build successfully. And one more thing, make sure you have Docker running. I have a Docker desktop, and yeah, so hopefully this should run properly. Later I can also update my Docker desktop, but yes, well, let me go back to WebStorm. And as you can see, it already started building. And here you see all the stages that went through. That's good. If you've seen which stage now, it's 5 out of 7. Now it's 6 out of 7, 7 out of 7 run PnP build. Here's the Vite build. You see everything what is going on. That's great. So if something, hopefully if a failure happens, you should know in which stage of the app the failure happens. And yes. Oh, nice. Now the Docker image should be built. Let's go to Docker desktop. And now you see task -web -app. Created a second ago. It's unused. 45 megabytes. Quite huge, to be honest. So let's get started, I would say. Let's test it locally, but we have to make sure if the servers are running. I mean, we can still test it, but server on render, the web service is currently down. I had to send again a request. I have to refresh the browser so that it works, but nonetheless, let's, oh, sorry, this is for later. New window. Yes, new default window. For instance, if you're in your terminal, you can do it also from your browser terminal, from your ID terminal, but I will do it right now from here that you see. That doesn't matter. Now we can say, now because we have a global image, we don't need to be in the project directory. As you can see, I'm in my home folder, ls-la. As you can see, this all the things that I have on my machine. But now let's say clear. Now let's run this Docker image in a Docker container. We say Docker run -d for in the background. So even if we close the terminal, it will still work. Let's say -p for the port addressing 1991. This is the port. The first port is for our local machine. So the app will be available on localhost :1991. And for our Docker image, we will use 8080 because later now we have not Nginx running, but when we are on the server and we have Nginx running, Nginx will look for 8080. Okay. Now let's give it a name, --name. I will call it task -web -app. And of course, course, we have to also say which. No, wait. I will wait. I will give it another name. Task app minus view or Vuetify. This is the name we are giving, and now is the image name that we are calling. It is task web minus app. You can also don't have to specify the name, but I would like to rename my container otherwise. So this is our image. Let's say enter. And if you get a string like this, that means it went successful. So the only question is our servers up and running? Up and running. Okay. And as you remember, we specified 1991 as our port. So now we should be able to say, what's one more thing? Containers. As you can see, we have a container running, task minus app minus Vuetify, and we're using the task minus web minus app image. So what I want to say is your image, you can specify your image, give your image another name like your container and vice versa. So this doesn't need to be the same name. Your container image, your Docker image and your container name. So let's say localhost not 3000, 1991. As you can see, and I have nothing running as you see here. There's nothing running. I can even clear. I can even start again npm dev 3000. Now let's see. Okay, 3000. Oh, sorry, it's on another browser. Here, let's take 3000. Localhost 3000, and we have here 1991. This is a Docker image. And that looks great. So let me again stop this, and I even exit from my WebStorm. As you can see, 3000 is no longer running, but this is still running. All tasks, create task, look for the details, back, edit task. No, I don't want to edit anything. That's great. That works. As you can see, the container is up and running. And now what we're going to do is we want to push this image. Now we have tested that we can create an image and we can create a container out of the image. Okay, now we can deploy it to Docker Hub. So basically on Docker Hub, if you go on hub.docker.com, am I signed in? I'm not signed in here, but should be on this browser. So yes, on this, I have already an image here, and as you can see, I'm on Docker Hub. So make sure you're also registered on Docker Hub. You can also log in from your Docker desktop. So let's continue. Well, we want to push another. As you can see, we have already an image here. We want 9 days ago, and we will now push now a new image. So go to a terminal, say docker login. Login succeeded. But now let's take a look at our images, Docker images. Okay. Now we have to tag the image, Docker tag. My name, what we are going to tag is task web app. And which tag we are using, we have the latest. You can also give it a 1, v1, v2 or something like this. We have latest, and we need to use our name here. As you can see, my name is Habibi Coding. I will just copy this, paste. And here we can also give it another name. Let's call it task view app slash YouTube dash YouTube. Okay, Docker tag. Let's tag it. Now let's take a look again at the images, Docker images, and now we have our image created and it's properly tagged. Okay. Now we can push our image. Let's say Docker push, copy your image name, copy, paste. As you can see, some things are happening. It's starting to push. Oh, it should be done. Nice. That went fast. Let's go back, Docker Hub. And as you can see, it's loading again. Task minus view minus app minus YouTube. There we have something. Less than a minute ago it was pushed. We can do a public view here and just copy this Docker pull. We will use it on our server. In case you are now interested how to set up Nginx on your Ubuntu machine on a Ubuntu instance, which is on used by cloud provider in the internet, I have a very good tutorial series in here. Google account. No. Not Google account. I want to go to view your channel. And as you can see, we have a playlist. This playlist, I mean, you can also use it for DigitalOcean and other things. Yeah. But wait a second, it should be a playlist. I'm currently confused. Playlist. Yeah, playlist. Yeah, as you can see, this is the playlist for setting up Ubuntu and Nginx and with your own domain. And yeah, otherwise you can also deploy it with Netlify or so. But I will show you how, if you have a Ubuntu instance in the cloud, how to deploy it. So let's do this. I had already opened it somewhere. Let me just clear everything. I'm already logged in on my machine. So if you want to take a look what is currently running on the machine, let me just type in my password. Now I see what services are running. I have already a backend service running here. It's just a simple thing. Let me just show it to you. Task minus manager minus hello backend. This is from my domain amazo.ai, and this is the backend service. It does nothing. It just prints out something. That's it. So now, if you are on your server, just paste the Docker. Oh gosh, go back to Docker Hub. Again, Docker Hub. Go to your image, public view, copy this, paste in here. As you can see, I have something running on port 9090. It's the backend service, and I will start the service on 9091 like I did on my local machine. Let's say Docker pull. It's done. Let's say Docker images. It's here. Great. Now we can say Docker run, but let me clear the screen. Sorry. Clear. Again, Docker images. So now we say Docker run -d for background, and we specify now the port with -p. We will use on our machine here on the server 1991 because this is free as we know. But Nginx, because Nginx is running on my machine, on my server here, Nginx listening on 8080, what we had defined in our Dockerfile and nginx.conf file. So we will give it a name. Let's call it task minus frontend. And this is the image we are using. Copy, paste, and this is running. Now you can check docker ps, and as you can see, everything is running. It has a, maybe I should have to make it a bit bigger. Okay, container ID we have image, the image we are using, nginx-g off, create 6 seconds ago, up 5 seconds ago, and this and this and this, and just, where is it? Sudo netstat minus tunlp, and we see we have a Docker proxy running. That should be good. Now let's go back. As you can remember, this is my backend service. But now if I want to call my frontend service, I just don't have to specify a subdomain here. I just can call amazo.ai. Let's do this. amazo.ai. And as you can see, it's the same things we have here on my local host. Localhost, this localhost is not running anymore. Was it here? Localhost 1991 on my local machine. And here on the server, we have amazo.ai. And here you can see this works perfectly fine. Inspect. I'm still in the web on my machine. As you can see, HTTPS is configured and so on and so forth. Yes, some things I could improve, some warnings, but yeah. And that's basically it. That's how you deploy things. And yeah. And yes, that's basically it. Let me think if I have forgotten something. Okay, yeah, Shabab. One more last thing. If you like this tutorial series, please be so kind, like, subscribe, and so on and so forth. But more importantly, if you are aware of the current situation in the Middle East, unfortunately, what the people of Palestine, of Gaza, are going through, please be so kind. I mean, you see UNICEF, for instance, has a quite devastating. I mean, they give you how the situation is. It's quite devastating. If you have some euros to spare, some dollars to spare, what kind of currency you're using, just go to donate. And really, the people need all the help they can get. Donate some money if you want to donate with UNICEF, or I like to, me for instance, I donate with Islamic Relief, but doesn't matter. Just go on Google, just go on Gaza donations, and you will find I'm based here in Austria, so I would mostly get some German sites for donation stuff. But nonetheless, pick one organization. If you're so kind, please donate for the people something they really need it. You can also read the Amnesty International reports, what they are going through. It's very devastating. So please be so kind. And yeah, so this is it, and Mabruk to all of you for going through all this tutorial to develop this application. I hope you liked it. So stay tuned, stay positive, and hopefully see you soon, inshallah. So ila liqa ya shabab.